You didn't stumble onto this video. You were led here. And if you've been feeling it lately, that quiet sense that something is about to shift, that this summer feels different from the ones before it, I need you to trust that feeling. Because what I'm seeing in this reading confirms it completely. Summer 2026 is going to be one of the best seasons of your life. I don't say that lightly. I say it because the cards laid out in front of me right now are telling a story that I genuinely did not expect. And it is entirely, specifically, yours. Here's what I want you to take seriously before we move on. The universe responds to movement, not grand gestures, small, genuine acts of showing up. Like this video, leave a comment, hit subscribe. That is you saying, I am here, I am paying attention, I am not letting this pass me by. Let that be your first act of showing up for the chapter that is about to begin. Hey loves, welcome back. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Alice. So glad you're here today because honestly, this is a fated window, a real breakthrough moment. Stay with me all the way through. There's a lot here, and it's all for you. The world came in first. And I want you to really let that land. A figure at the center, mid-motion, wrapped in a flowing cloth. 4 creatures in each corner. The bull, the lion, the eagle, the angel. A wreath surrounding everything like a crown the size of the universe. This card doesn't show up quietly. It never does. The world is completion, but not the kind that closes a door and leaves you standing in an empty hallway. This is the kind of completion that spins you right into something new, fuller than you were before, carrying everything you've learned, everything you've survived, everything you finally let yourself feel. And here's what I need you to hear. You are not here by accident today. Something brought you to this reading. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was hope. Maybe it was that quiet voice underneath all the noise that's been trying to get your attention for weeks. Whatever it was, trust it. Because the world showing up first for summer 2026 is not a small thing. This card is telling you that a cycle has been closing, one that some of you have been in for longer than felt fair. There were moments, and some of you know exactly which ones, where you genuinely weren't sure how it was going to end, where the path forward wasn't just unclear, it felt non-existent. You kept going anyway. You kept showing up anyway. That chapter? It's done now. Summer 2026 is the exhale after all of that. And the world is standing here at the entrance of this season like a signal, like a green light, like the universe finally turning to you and saying, it's your turn now. For some of you, this is going to be the season that you look back on years from now and say, that's when everything shifted. Not because some dramatic miracle fell out of the sky, but because you were finally in alignment. Finally ready to receive what had already been making its way toward you. For others, it's quieter than that, and just as real. A feeling of settledness, of being exactly where you're supposed to be for the first time in a long time. Of summer not being something you need to survive, but something you actually get to live. The foundation has been laid. The work has been done. And now, summer 2026 is standing in front of you like an open road. The world doesn't show up to disappoint. It shows up to deliver. You're exactly where you need to be. And summer is just getting started. The Empress came out next. And honestly, after the world, this felt like the universe doubling down, because that's exactly what this is. A woman seated on the throne of cushions, surrounded by a forest in full bloom. Wheat at her feet. A river running softly in the background. A crown of 12 stars. A scepter held loosely, not gripped, just held. She is not straining. She is not managing. She is simply present in the abundance around her. And because of that presence, everything grows. That image is not accidental. Every single detail of this card is about what happens when you stop forcing and start flowing. And that is exactly the energy summer 2026 is carrying for you. The Empress is nature. She is the season. She doesn't schedule growth. It just happens around her because she's in alignment with something larger than her own plans. The flowers don't bloom because she's controlling them. They bloom because the conditions are right, because the season has arrived, and because she trusted that it would. That is what this summer is asking of you. Some of you, and I mean this with so much love, have been running on willpower for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to just let something be good. You've been managing every outcome, anticipating every problem, staying one step ahead of anything that might go wrong. And listen, that kept you safe. That got you through. But that season is behind you now. The Empress is not a card about effort. She is a card about receptivity. The energy available to you this summer is not something you push against. You don't strategize your way into it. You don't control it into shape. You open to it. You move with it. You let it carry you a little. And for some of you, that is genuinely the hardest thing this reading is going to ask of you. Because letting go of control when you've been holding on for a long time, that takes courage. Real courage. More than most people want to admit. But here's what the Empress knows that the part of you gripping the reins doesn't. The river already knows where it's going. Your job this summer is not to direct it. Your job is to get in. Rest without guilt. Enjoy things fully without waiting for the catch. Let summer be beautiful without turning it into a project. Let yourself laugh loudly and stay out too late and feel the sun on your face and not be productive about it. That is not laziness. That is alignment. The Empress doesn't hustle. She receives. And this summer, you are being asked to do the same. The energy is here. It has always been here. You just have to stop standing outside of it and walk in. The Empress taught you to open your hands. The High Priestess is here to tell you what to do with what lands in them. The High Priestess came in next, and I want you to pause for a second before we go any further. Because this card doesn't show up for everyone. And the fact that she's here, in this position, in this reading, that means something. She sits between two pillars, one dark, one light. A veil behind her, covered in pomegranates. A crescent moon at her feet. A scroll in her hands, partially hidden, partially revealed. She is not performing for you. She is not trying to convince you of anything. She simply knows. And she's waiting to see if you're willing to trust what you know, too. Because that is exactly what this card is about. The High Priestess is the part of you that already has the answer. The part that knew before your mind caught up. The part that felt the shift in a room before anything was said out loud. The part that told you, quietly, clearly, more than once, which direction to go. She's been there the whole time. She's there right now. And this summer, she is asking you to stop arguing with her. Here's what I see so many people do, and maybe you recognize yourself in this. They get the answer, they feel it, they know, and then they spend the next 3 weeks talking themselves out of it, asking everyone else's opinion, gathering more information, looking for a reason to doubt what was actually already clear. That is not discernment. That is fear wearing the costume of logic. The High Priestess is not asking you to be reckless. She is asking you to be committed, to make the decision and then stand behind it, to stop revisiting what has already been decided, to stop leaving doors open out of habit when your whole heart has already walked through one of them. The universe responds to certainty. It really does. When you send a mixed signal, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, wanting something but hedging every move, what comes back is mixed too. Confusion meeting confusion. Hesitation meeting hesitation. But when you commit, when you say yes and mean it all the way through, that's when things start moving. That's when the doors open that you didn't even know were there. And listen, this is important. What you put out this summer is coming back to you multiplied. Your thoughts, your words, the energy you bring into every room, every conversation, every decision. The emotional frequency you're living in on a Tuesday afternoon when nothing particular is happening. That is what the universe is reading. That is what it's responding to. So be intentional. Not anxious, intentional. There's a difference. Choose the positive thought when both are available. Choose to believe in the outcome you want instead of rehearsing the one you're afraid of. Choose to stay in the energy of what's coming rather than the energy of what you're leaving behind. And if this reading is speaking to you, if something in here has hit, if you felt seen, if you're already thinking about someone who needs to hear this, that's the universe nudging you. A like, a comment, a subscription, that is you saying yes out loud. That is you answering back. And I promise you, the universe will hear it. What you send out with intention, it returns 100-fold. The High Priestess already knows what's possible for you this summer. The only question is whether you're ready to know it too. Trust yourself. Commit fully. Stay in the frequency of what you want. She didn't show up in this reading to be ignored. The Six of Swords came in next. And after everything this reading has already moved through, the completion, the natural energy, the call to trust yourself fully, this card is telling you what has to happen inside you for all of that to actually land. A figure in a boat, cloaked and still. A child beside them, sheltered. A ferryman guiding them both across quiet water. 6 swords standing upright in the bow of the boat. Not gone, not forgotten, but no longer being held, just carried. And ahead of them, the water is calm. Behind them, it's rough. That distinction is not subtle. The card is showing you the direction of travel, and it is away from the storm. This is the card of moving on, not dramatically, not loudly, just moving. And here's what I need you to sit with. The boat is already in motion. The ferryman is already rowing. You don't have to figure out how to leave. You are already leaving. The question the Six of Swords is asking is whether you're going to let yourself arrive. Because some of you are sitting in that boat, physically moving forward, doing all the right things, showing up for your life, and still facing backward. Still replaying the thing that hurt. Still running the conversation that went wrong. Still carrying the weight of someone's words, someone's choices, someone's absence like it belongs to you. Still waking up at 3 a.m. rehearsing something you can't change. That is not loyalty to your own story. That is an anchor wearing the shape of a memory. The worry, the grudges, the grief you haven't fully named. The anxiety that shows up before anything has even gone wrong. Just preemptively, just in case, just because you've been burned before and your nervous system hasn't forgotten. I see it. And I want you to hear me when I say, the Six of Swords is not judging any of it. It understands exactly how those swords ended up in the boat. Every single one of them made sense at the time. But you are crossing into a new season now. And the other shore? The one with calm water? The one where summer 2026 is waiting for you. It doesn't require you to arrive empty-handed. It just requires you to arrive willing. Willing to stop picking at the wound. Willing to let the story be over even if it didn't end the way you wanted. Willing to put down the version of events you've been carrying like evidence, like armor, like proof of something you no longer need to prove. Some of you need to forgive someone. Not because they deserve it. Not because what happened was okay. but because you deserve to stop carrying it. There is a real difference between those two things. And the Six of Swords knows that difference better than almost any card in the deck. Some of you need to forgive yourself for the decision that didn't work out, for the time you lost, for the way you handled something when you were running on empty and doing the best you could with what you had. That counts. That has always counted. And some of you just need to let something be over. No final conversation, no resolution that ties everything up neatly, no explanation that finally makes it make sense. Just done. Released. Left on the shore you're rowing away from. The swords in this card don't disappear, but they stop being weapons when you stop turning back toward them. The water ahead is calm. The passage is already happening. Let it take you there. The Six of Swords just confirmed it's safe to go. The Four of Swords came in fifth, and after everything this reading has already moved through, the completion, the flow, the trust, the release, this card is the one that tells you how to actually live inside all of it. A figure lying in repose, carved in stone, hands pressed together. 3 swords hang on the wall above them, one rests beneath. A stained glass window casting colored light across the stillness. The room is quiet. The world outside is continuing, and this person has made a deliberate, conscious choice to stop. Not because they gave up, because they understood something that takes most people far too long to learn. That rest is not the opposite of progress. Rest is progress. Stillness is not absence. It is preparation. It is the thing that makes everything else possible. And the Four of Swords is here to say, Summer 2026 needs you rested, not running on fumes, not getting through it on caffeine and willpower and the promise that you'll slow down eventually. Actually rested. The kind of rested where you wake up and feel like yourself again. The kind where your nervous system has had enough silence to remember what calm feels like. The kind where you're not just functional, you're present. So let me get specific. Because this card isn't asking you to transform your entire life. It's asking for something much simpler. And sometimes the simple things are the ones we resist the hardest. Sleep. Actual, unhurried sleep. Not the collapse from exhaustion kind. Not the scrolling until 2 a.m. then wondering why you're depleted kind. The intentional kind. The kind where you decide that your rest matters enough to protect it. Walk. Step outside without a destination or a podcast or a reason. Let your body move through the world at its own pace. Let your eyes land on things, a tree, the sky, the way light hits a surface, without immediately translating it into something useful. Some of your best thinking will happen when you stop trying to think. Some of the answers you've been chasing will arrive the moment you stop running toward them. Create something. And here I want to be careful, because some of you have turned creativity into productivity, and that's not what this card is pointing to. I'm not talking about a project. I'm talking about making something with your hands, or your voice, or your body, that has no audience and no outcome attached to it. Paint something terrible. Write something no one will read. Cook something just because you wanted to taste it. Dance in your kitchen. The act of creating for its own sake is one of the most powerful ways to come back to yourself. The Four of Swords knows this. Talk to someone you trust. Not to process endlessly, not to analyze everything to its edges, just connection. The kind where you don't have to perform or explain yourself from the beginning or hold anything back. The kind where you leave the conversation feeling lighter than when you arrived. Some of you have been carrying things in silence for so long that you've started to believe the silence is strength. It's not. It's isolation with good posture. Because here is what the Four of Swords understands that the part of you pushing through doesn't. You cannot receive what summer 2026 has for you if you are too depleted to notice it arriving. Abundance lands differently when you're rested. Opportunities look different when your eyes aren't glazed over from exhaustion. Love feels different when you're actually present enough to feel it. The figure in this card is not weak. Look at the stillness in that image. That is someone who has made a powerful, intentional choice. That is someone who understands that the swords will still be there when they rise. The world will still be moving, but they will be ready to meet it in a way they simply weren't before they stopped. This summer is asking you to be kind to yourself in the most practical, everyday ways. Not as a grand gesture, not as a dramatic lifestyle overhaul. Just a walk, a conversation, a full night of sleep, an afternoon where you make something for no reason at all. That is not wasted time. That is you becoming someone who can hold everything this season is bringing. The Four of Swords didn't come in here to slow you down. It came in to make sure you arrive at everything that's waiting for you whole. Rest, and then rise. The summer is ready for you. Every single card in this reading has been saying the same thing from a different angle. The Empress said, "The energy is here. Stop forcing and start flowing, because this season grows what you're willing to receive." The High Priestess said, "You already know. Commit fully, trust your knowing, and stop arguing yourself out of what is already clear." The Six of Swords said, "You are already crossing. Release the weight of what hurt you, because the calm water is ahead and you deserve to arrive there whole." The Four of Swords said, "Rest is not weakness. Walk, create, connect, and let yourself be replenished so you can meet everything this summer is bringing with your whole self intact." That is not a collection of themes. That is one story, and it belongs to you. Here's what I need you to understand about what this summer actually is. It is not a season you have to earn your way into. It is not waiting for you on the other side of more effort, more strategy, more pushing through. It is here. It is already in motion. The joy is available right now. The new connections are already finding their way toward you. The creativity that has been waiting quietly underneath all the busyness, it is ready to move the moment you give it space to breathe. But, and the Six of Swords was very clear about this, you cannot fully inhabit a new season while still living inside the old one. The grudge you're still carrying, the worry you keep returning to out of habit, the pain you've normalized because you've been holding it for so long it started to feel like yours. The anxiety about outcomes that haven't happened and may never happen. Summer 2026 is not asking you to pretend none of that existed. It is asking you to leave it on the shore. Because the universe has your back this summer. Completely. Not conditionally. Not only if you get everything right. Not only if you perform your healing perfectly or stay positive every single moment. It has your back the way the Empress holds the forest. Fully, naturally, without asking the flowers to justify their blooming. What it is asking is that you show up with open hands. That you let the old story be finished. That you trust the decision you've already made instead of revisiting it in the dark at 3 a.m. That you take the walk. Have the conversation, make the thing, rest without guilt. That you let this summer be good, genuinely, fully, surprisingly good, without waiting for the catch. Every time you choose joy over worry, the Empress blooms more fully around you. Every time you commit without second-guessing, the High Priestess moves things in your direction. Every time you let something go that was never meant to travel with you, the Six of Swords carries you further into calm water. Every time you rest and restore and fill yourself back up, the Four of Swords makes you ready for everything this season has prepared for you. This is not separate events happening to you. This is one continuous movement, and you are already inside it. Summer 2026 is yours. The joy is yours. The new connections, the creativity, the balance, the lightness you have not felt in longer than you want to admit. Yours. The universe has already said yes. The only thing left is for you to say it too. Say yes to the season. Say yes to the version of yourself that gets to be happy without earning it first. Say yes to letting go of everything that has been quietly making you smaller than you actually are. You didn't find this reading by accident, and this reading did not land the way it landed by accident either. Something in you already knew it was time. Don't let this pass through you like a moment that fades by tomorrow. Drop a comment right now. Tell me which card hit the hardest. Tell me what you are ready to release. Tell me what you are finally ready to receive. I read every single comment, without exception, and I mean that. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't yet. Not for the algorithm, for you. Because the energy you bring to claiming what this reading said is the exact energy the Empress responds to. That is not a metaphor. That is how this works. The summer is already here. The universe is already moving. The only question is whether you're ready to let it be as good as it actually is. I cannot wait to read your comment. Sending you so much love. See you in the next one.